Well, welcome back, everyone. You know, sometimes people think it's really hard to concentrate on things, and sometimes they self-diagnose with ADD. But here to talk about that is Erin Moran Wiley. She is the CEO and owner of the Willow Center here in Ohio. So welcome, Erin.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
What is it? What are the, symptoms? How do you diagnose it? Give us the full aspect of this whole thing.
Sure. Well, I think what we need to realize right off is anytime we're talking about a mental health diagnosis, we're really talking about a set of symptoms. There's no way genetically where we can do a mouth swab and look under a microscope at your cells and say, oh, see, we can diagnose them with ADD. So really, it's behavior that we are diagnosing. In America right now, we are all chronically distracted, and we've all trained ourselves to be big dopamine seekers, and it's everywhere. There are high-fat, high-salt, high-sugar foods everywhere. You can drive through and they will hand them to you. You don't even have to make them yourself. TikTok and Facebook and Insta and Snap. And I mean, we don't have to wait for commercials anymore, right? We can stream shows and just watch them without interruption. So we really are almost training ourselves to be, to struggle with a lack of attention because we don't flex that muscle very often. So that's probably the first thing I would say is just consider that and what it means for us to take breaks from things that keep our brains stuck in that chasing a dopamine reward, because that's often what motivates that kind of behavior. When we're talking about ADD, they have officially renamed it ADHD, with or without hyperactivity. They change the name sometimes, honest, but it's the same thing. It means that you struggle to focus and pay attention. We've got the two types, the inattentive type, which tends to be people who dissociate, and so they just go away and they have trouble focusing because they are somewhere else. They're thinking of other things. They have trouble being in the present moment. And then there's the hyperactive component, which is the other type of ADD, ADHD, where people really have trouble sitting still. They are fidgety, constantly moving, have lots of energy, and that makes it difficult for them to pay attention. So you've got the two types. What we know is some of it is influenced by genetics. If you have a parent who has had these behaviors, whether they've been diagnosed or not, you are more likely to have a child who struggles with that. To me, one of the biggest problems is when we're looking specifically at children, the American education system is not set up. We're trying, it's getting better. But for children, because children need to move, they are kinesthetic learners. They learn through movement and they need to burn off steam, which is why we had recess and physical education, which sometimes they cut down on. So I do think there are things that we can do to help ourselves and kids have a little more attention. Want me to tell you about them, Chris?
Sure, do it.
Yeah, so I could talk all day about mental health things. Okay, so one thing that's basic, everything that's basic is where we start with mental health. Sleep, what you are consuming food-wise, and how you're moving your body. So if you have a lot of that energy, moving your body, just even if you take a 15-minute walk when you park your car at work, or if you can walk your kids to the bus stop, or make sure that they get on bikes after school. Movement helps get some of that energy out, which can help us focus better. Getting high quality sleep, going to bed on time, not looking at screens too late in the night, which is a real struggle for lots of people. But if you're a parent, you have more control over your kids to say, this is not how we're doing it. If you are already doing that and you really want to change it, it's hard for parents because then kids fight back and are angry and frustrated because they're addicted. But parents do have the ability to handle that and still discipline their kids and change their behavior. Sleep, food, right? Like a kid who eats a Pop-Tart and drinks Kool-Aid for breakfast, and that's what they have in their body to go to school, isn't going to have the energy they need, the fats and the proteins in particular, to really fuel their mind to help them feel settled and grounded. So there are simple physiological things we can do. I mentioned kind of that dopamine detox of trying to get yourself away from things that are choppy and fast, like Snapchat and TikTok. Also, for some people, they do consider medications. What we have found is with stimulants like Ritalin or Adderall or even caffeine, they stimulate the prefrontal cortex of the brain, and that's where we are able to calm down and focus. If you don't have enough activity in that part of your brain, you do really struggle with that. So taking a medication that stimulates that part of the brain to focus can be helpful for lots of people.
Yeah. So, Erin, you are a wealth of knowledge. I could talk to you about this all day long. Unfortunately, we were running out of time. But if any of our viewers have any questions about anything with Erin's topic for today, we have her information on the screen, so you can contact her, call her, go visit the website. But, Erin, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, don't go away because we have more when we return.